Okay.
Why is Steve Jennifer?
I was going to say that.
Oh. Steve can be whoever he wants to be, Jen.
Oh,
That's right. Who are we to judge?
Yeah, who are we to judge?
okay.
So we're just missing Jack.
He's coming.
Okay.
Okay, but I don't have to be on this one, so I can stop the video but listen, right?
You can
Yeah.
do whatever you
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because
Alright.
we're gonna
Nope.
come back at 3 o'clock or 3:30.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
scheduled for 3 o'clock, but if we go late, we won't be back till 3:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
Hi, Jack.
Okay.
Hello.
So, okay.
All right. Are we good?
Okay.
Annette,
Yes.
we're good? Okay, excellent. So I'm going to call this meeting to order. Are there any additions to the agenda? Tim?
Yeah, I'd like to add in a little discussion on bylaw 2016-24.
Yes, thanks for sending that out. So we'll do that when we're talking to Steve.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Yes, Jack.
Yeah, I just have a question for Annette on finances, I guess. We can bring it up then. It's
Yep.
just
Oh,
fair and disposals. So,
Oh,
Okay, when we get there, we'll get there. Thanks for that. Anything else? Okay,
sorry.
yeah, Merv, did you have something?
Wonder, should we take a moment in silence in recognition of what happened in Nova Scotia?
You just stole that out of my brain, Merv. I was gonna do that this evening. Would you like to do it now?
Okay, no, whatever,
Whatever you guys
whatever.
want.
No,
But yes, I was thinking the same thing.
yes.
Okay, I was going to, I'll do that under Renfrew County. That's fine. All right, so, oh, you know what? No, I want to add something for Annette and Sandra, the community safety and well-being plan. And the email we got from the OPP or from the Solicitor General. All right, so can I get a confirmation of the agenda, please? Moved by Councillor Patrick, seconded by Councillor Cision. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thanks, guys. Hands up. Okay. Is there any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none. All right, can I get an approval of the minutes of the committee meeting from April 7th? Moved by Councillor Buckwald, seconded by Councillor Patrick. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you. All right, we have no delegations, so we'll move right ahead with Kevin's report. Kevin, take it away.
Okay,
busy.
you have my report that I've sent you previously. The arena, we're doing maintenance. Basically, that's what's going on right now. This week now, later in the week, the weather looks pretty good, so we'll go in and check the parks out. That's top of the list kind of deal. So the Eagle's Nest, we're doing painting in the bar. We're getting a new countertop fixed up. It's just maintenance. I've contacted the blood donor clinic. Right now, I got to give them a call at the end of the month. They're scheduling just basically month by month because they're running the same situation everybody else is. Travel, and they have a few of their own employees testing positive, so or under self-isolation, I should say. For the parks, that picture I sent of the shade structure at Opeongo Park, obviously the snow took it down, but from my understanding, that structure isn't ours. Am I correct on that? The structure is, but we didn't attach that to the building. I know they did because I was told they did.
Who's they?
It was Glenn Cosmack. It was Glenn that called me.
Oh, it was Glenn that called you. Yeah, I said, yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. And he was saying at that time, there was Reggie Benoit, a couple other gentlemen that were doing it at that time. So I'm not sure what direction we go from here. It's got to be fixed.
can we look into replacement value?
Absolutely.
That would be great, Kev. Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, Kev, it was us we rebuilt that completely back in 2013. So
Does-
the basic structure was there, but we rebuilt it in 2013.
The lean-to on the side, Steve?
I am pretty sure. I would have to check back on my records, but pretty sure the whole thing.
Okay, okay.
Is
Well,
that, is that not the building that's owned by the Sebastopol Heritage Society?
that's the building, yes.
Okay, well, let's look into what the cost would be, and then we can discuss it with the powers that be with the Heritage Society.
I think like the steel and the rafters, I think could be reused. I think the overall, like to fix it up, I can't see it being that extreme, but until you get into it, you won't really know.
Yeah, so let's get an estimate on that.
Okay. The Lesion Field, the graffiti on the outside wall is going to wait till it warms up. We took off the most we could, but it still needs to be just freshened up. I was talking to Derek McDonald about the golf tournament. We're just status quo, just holding off for now. See what happens. Discussion on the summer jobs. We got applications and everything, and I've contacted most of the applicants and just told them the situation where we are. So with that being said, is with the planters on the bridge, what's everybody's feeling on that?
Well, how many people does it take to do those planters?
One to two people, like you can do one each side. One person could do it. Take a little longer, but one person could do it.
Then I think that it would be a really nice thing to have for people driving through. Just, it's kind of gloomy right now. And I think that the work that the Horticulture Society and our rec department does on the bridge, it's really pretty and uplifting. I'd really like to see it done as long as it can be done safely. Yes, Merv.
Yes, I agree. I'd like the planters on the bridge, and we're going to need students for that. The grass has to be cut. We're going to need students for that.
Yep.
It's not going to stop growing.
So Kev, I would say that right now you'd have to hold interviews through Zoom. But I agree with Merv, like there are things that can be done that wouldn't put anybody in harm's way.
Yeah.
And the health of our staff and our residents is the #1 priority right now. But I think if only one person rides on a lawnmower. So yes,
Yeah.
Frank.
I was just gonna say, I'd like to keep just like the status quo, pretty much what we did last year, best we can this year. And the thing is like, if we have to rake our beaches more and get the summer students to rake the beaches more, or cut the grass, trim, pull weeds, I think there's more work than workers is what I always say. So I'd love to see, even if we can get more funding for more summer students, you know what, if we can employ some more, there's always lots of work to be done. We can drop them out of park for an entire day and they can get weeding. There's lots that we can get the students to do. If we can have more, I'd love to have more. If we can have the funding for it, then why not? But definitely keep status quo or more.
Okay.
Anything for Kev on that?
Pardon me?
Just asking council if there's anything more about summer students for you. Okay.
And the thing is too, with that, like we got to maintain everything as is until the government gives us the green light on open up our beaches and our parks, and that we're kind of in limbo.
But when they open up, Kev, they're gonna open up.
Oh yeah, no, I hear it. When we want to be prepared for it, that's for sure.
That's right. Right.
Right. And I had an inquiry about the water filling station at the tourist information booth, and I said, well, right now the building is closed, and he asked me when it's going to be open, and I said, well, I don't really have that answer for you right now, but that was an inquiry about the water filling station.
I think that's something that we're gonna have to take week over week. It's no different than any other of our facilities, in my opinion. I think that for now, we still have to keep everyone safe, and opening the tourist information booth is not necessarily a priority at this time.
No, you're right. Yeah. The Canada Day celebrations.
So sad. So
Um,
sad. Yes, Brent?
I was just gonna say, just because we know Canada is kind of in limbo, just out of curiosity, have we heard anything back for like what's happening with kind of Taste of Valleys? I know we're projecting, but that's back in August. But kind of how I look at it is, we don't know what Canada's Day gonna be like. So do we want to almost kind of push a larger celebration potentially into the Taste of Valley and really make that a really big event as well?
Yeah, I think that's part of Dana's report, is that we're still on the list for Taste of the Valley because it is at the end of August. So I think that as we get closer, and I'm not suggesting that we wait until July, but perhaps during our late May or early June meetings, maybe we figure something out there. When was Brent, when was the community development group planning to do the McCrae Park day?
The original discussion for that, I believe, was sometime in the fall after all the signage is up. But like, to be honest, right now, everything obviously is in the limbo. So, and especially
Okay.
like we have our golf tournament for that, then the dinner on the bridge obviously is postponed and stuff. So kind of how I look at it is, we don't really know what Canada is going to look like, and we also don't know what the rest of the year is. But really, if we can almost throw our eggs in one basket later on, then that'd be the best. We'll have a better outlook every week goes by, every month, right?
Well, and I think that as we move forward, we can get the fire department to order fireworks when we see things getting a bit better, and then perhaps plan that kind of thing, right? So, I mean, they need some lead time to get some fireworks, but why couldn't we put off fireworks, on August 28th? Tim, I think your hand was up. Sorry about that.
Yeah, just looking at the situation and how it changed so rapidly, and how, it progressed really quick from March 13th on until, to what it become today. I understand the way down the slope from COVID-19 is going to be a slow one, but would it be in our best interest to kind of plan things at bare minimum, as if, in a month or two's projection, say like Canada Day, kind of get some stuff, like you're saying, on the go. And if it is canceled, we will have things for next year. So when it comes to that date, or if it comes, do a little bit of pre-planning for a lot of the events that we're looking ahead, July and August and September and stuff, because if it does go ahead and people are able to get out and back to somewhat of what we had prior to this massive event happening, that we are somewhat, ready to go with certain things as well. We can't just kind of avoid things. As far as I'm concerned, get some preliminary planning on ahead.
So I think for Canada Day during the day, if things are looking up, I don't see any reason that Dana and Kev can't order some bouncy castles, that kind of thing for that day. I know that we're always on the docket year over year with the suppliers, so we could probably put something together. But I think we're a little early to be making any, so I think maybe we're at our last meeting in April, perhaps our first meeting in May or second meeting in May, we'll have better projections. But I know this crew too. I know that we can put stuff together quickly and effectively and get the word out to our residents and our neighbors. Yes, Brent.
I was just gonna say, at minimum, like especially for fireworks, there's no reason. It's too bad like you didn't have like a drive-in movie theaters all around here, because it'd be the perfect time for it. But even fireworks, like, they're gonna probably go off no matter what, really, on the July 1st, in my opinion. But that's obviously mine. So really, we won't know until then. But I don't know, I'd still like to see us at least plan for those, because the thing is, they aren't gonna go to waste. Like, I don't think fireworks really have a large expiry date, so.
Yes, they do.
Oh, do they?
Yes, they actually
Okay.
do. They
So-
cannot be in storage for more than a certain amount of time. And I don't want to tell you what that amount of time is because I'm not exactly sure, but I will tell you it's a very short time span.
Oh, it's a
and
short
they have to
window?
Be stored in a very specific manner. These are, they're real
They're
fireworks.
explosives. They're explosives.
What's that?
They're explosives.
Yeah, exactly.
They're explosives.
So at this point, I think the lead time to order them is 6 weeks. So again, even if we talked about it at our May meetings, then we'd have a better idea. I mean, guys, things are changing every day, right? It's a moving target. So we'll just have to keep our eye on the situation and hope for the best.
Okay. Another question I have is, and I know this is, I pretty well have the answer. I had a gentleman ask me about up at the Lesion Field, and he knows the facility is closed. He said, "Can I take some of the young lads up and play ball in the field?" I said, "Well," I said, "right now it's closed." So yeah, that's, I don't know. Like, I get where he's coming from, but for now, I think we should stay our foot on the pedal until see it for another couple weeks or so.
Well, that wasn't our decision to close.
I know.
That was a provincial decision.
Yeah.
And, I watch Doug Ford's presentation every single day, and he is not swaying away from these parks. So,
Okay.
Tim, you had your hand up, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have to stay within provincial regulations. That's
Absolutely.
something we have to do.
Okay. Just a question, because if I get answered again, I'll say no. Well, that's fair enough. Like, he should have known the answer, but whether he didn't or didn't, I don't know. Talking about the farmers market, I was talking to Michelle this morning. They're thinking about maybe doing some of their farmers market online. They're not 100% sure yet, but they're looking into it. So anyways, they're kind of scheduled for June the 12th at the Lesion Field, but I told them the situation, so we're going to stay in touch and go from there. That's like right now, with everything closed up there, they have no facilities, bathrooms or water.
Okay.
So anyways, she's aware of that, and we're going to wait and see what goes on.
Okay. Yes, Murph.
Not only that, but depending on the tourist situation, they probably will have a great reduction in customers as well.
Yes, I would
Right.
think so.
And I do know of 2 of the vendors that are doing it online, and they've actually been donating through our It Takes a Village.
Okay. This is from the library about they were talking about doing some yarn bombing downtown. Any input on that,
Okay.
Jim?
What is that?
Well, I think they decorate some of the poles. I think I'm guessing. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know about that myself. Anybody any input, Annette?
Can they send us some pictures of some yarn bombing and then we'll decide?
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we're trying to beautify the downtown. I'm not sure. I like it if it looks good. Well, then it's okay. But however,
Yeah.
I'm
I'd like to know more about that.
So yeah, me too. Yeah. I'm on to Dana's report. Dana had a question about the newsletter, May and June, and are we still proceeding with this? Like, I guess the schedule was getting a little tight, or well, not so much tight, but we're going over to maybe the same material. I don't know.
I think that we should stay the course and send the May 1st one out.
Okay.
It doesn't have to have the joint message from James and I, but maybe a nice message from our council I've had a lot of people, you know, concerned about people having seasonal homes. Unfortunately, they pay taxes here and they deserve to use their homes. And we do have a numerous amount of people that actually, they don't have another house. They live in Florida for 6 months and then they live here for 6 months. So they're coming home. But I'd like, you know, information to go out to them just in case they weren't here for the previous one.
Okay. Dane, it's been the youth dances, all that material, like that's been canceled. The Taste of the Valley, it's all laid out there where each group is going to be for the upcoming season kind of deal. And all that is started. Who knows? Annette, do you have any input on your Easter egg?
We got some positive responses on it, but we haven't received any pictures yet to date. So maybe people just had a good time with it. I know people did participate, but they didn't. Maybe they weren't just sharing. They were just doing their thing at home. And Dana did mention to me something today. The May Mutter is canceled.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Listen, Bonnie the Bonnechere Bunny was great. You and Dana were great.
Also in Dana's report, and we kind of talked about the marriage license. I think she's just gonna stay on top of that and see where that goes. She has lots of application approvals, funding, lots of program funding. It's be interested to see where all this. It looks good right now. Like the funding's gonna be there, so it's just a matter of making it work.
And I think the students are they're going to fund them 100%. So
yeah,
that'll be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So other than that, I think my report is pretty well completed.
The planning report's really funny.
Pardon me?
Dana's planning report.
Yeah.
Shorter than Daryl's report.
That's okay too, though.
Yep.
Any input from council on proceedings?
No, but thanks for just a note to you and your staff, Kev. Thanks for doing some maintenance on the arena.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
It's, you know, if this is the perfect time to do it.
Well, it is. It's funny when things get going in the springtime. Any other, you're just putting the fires out as you go. So this is bonus time. So you know, we're getting lots of little stuff done.
You're using your time for good, not evil.
That's good.
All right. Anything further for Kevin? Okay, seeing none. Thanks, Kev.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care of yourself.
We will.
Okay, Steve, over to you.
All right, good afternoon. A few things. I'm going to go straight down to the health and safety stuff. As of course we all know, all of our health and safety programs were put on hold. All of the training programs were put on hold. I talked with Annette, and we decided to bring it forward to you about this new program. It's not a new program, it's been around for a while. We haven't used it before. I reached out to a bunch of the other municipalities that do use it, and we've had some really good input from them. So unless someone has an issue with it, I'm going to go ahead and order that program. It is $950 a year. It was in my budget. But what it does is it gives most of our employees the opportunity to train by video.
Okay, so Steve, when I read this seems like a very good price to me. considering if we have to send employees for training, there's an inherent cost to that. I mean, this is sort of the model that the fire department's using for their training to save money. I sort of saw this as a savings, but of course we don't have budgets yet, so I'm not sure where that would fall in. Like, am I correct in my assumption that this is a savings to the municipality?
It is and it isn't. Excuse me, when it comes to things like WMIS, we can't actually give a certification through this training, but we can certainly do all of our annual refresher training with this and keeps everybody kind of up to date.
And this is Pan Corporation, correct? This is safety, health and safety.
Everybody.
For the,
Yep.
Okay, I thought it sounded great. I'll reach out to council. What do you guys think?
Sounds great to me.
Okay.
Well, I mean, and when I think about, like, if we're not training people on health and safety right now, when this is all over, we will be in contravention. So I think this is a very important thing to keep up on. But anyway, yeah, that's my feeling.
If this recovers our requirement.
Exactly. Except for perhaps WMIS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve, you're on mute.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. WMIS and first aid, those ones that do have to be done in person. Moving on, emergency management. Hallelujah. Fresh at 2020. We're in great shape. No problems at all. I took a real good look on Saturday. When I went for a drive, everything is beautiful. So I will keep you up to date because we do have a couple more fresh ed meetings. But other than that, I think we can all rest easy on that. On the COVID-19, of course, the operations center, our emergency operations center is still open and active at an enhanced level. The emergency control group in its capacities, incident command for this emergency continues to meet electronically on a regular basis. As for complaints, very few people have been really, I can't say enough about our residents. They've been really embracing this with the social distancing, things like that. And it's been really good, and very, very few complaints have come through. As you saw in the report, on Saturday 11th, I took a little drive. I went again out on Saturday the 18th, Saturday just passed. 17 cottages were occupied, and the indications were that most of them were people from Southern Ontario. So, but they were cleaning up and things like that. There was no indications that anybody was doing anything sort of untoward. I did make a mistake, and I apologize to the fire chief. I had issued 4 warnings. People were just burning their grass and stuff like that, or little piles of leaves and stuff. I spoke to the fire chief, and he wants us to take a very solid zero tolerance. So from now on, it'll just be take down the address, report it to the chief, and he'll take it from there. As for the pound, something we hadn't thought of, and we're working on a protocol because we had an issue with a dog coming in COVID-19 positive house, and we had to come up with a new protocol. Excuse me. There is right now no credible evidence that dogs can be a carrier of COVID-19. However, what we never considered was that their collars, their leashes, and their fur itself can actually carry the virus. So we've worked out a new protocol with staff on any of those dogs that are coming in. And that's it I have for that. And I believe, Tim, you wanted to discuss your chickens
Yeah, yes. So during this last couple months, I believe a few people have, actually, I've seen it becoming quite common. A couple different places have started raising chickens because of, trying to stay away from the grocery stores for either eggs or for meat or whatever. And one person brought it to my attention in Grattan Township that they were only supposed to have four chickens if it was under 2 hectares, right? And according to the way I read the bylaw, is it for 2 hectares and less that is restricted to 4? Because at the
Yes,
top it
under
does
the,
read that to me. So
yeah.
I have an issue with that, like in places in Grattan where you have, even myself, my lot is less than an acre, but I know that nobody in the back would have any issue whatsoever. I know there's a lot of locations. One, for instance, there's an acre lot severed off of say a 300-acre farm, and they live there, so they would be in contradiction to our bylaw if they had more than 4 chickens. And I really don't think that should apply to our rural residents. And that's why I'm bringing it forward, because, it was introduced in 2016 by the look of it. What was the reason? Why was that brought in? Because I know in Augsburg growing up, even, we've had chickens and pigs there all the time and never had any issue as long as we kept the stables clean and stuff. And even on my place, like, I'd have no problem with, 20 meat roosters here, to put you through the winter. Anybody want to talk about that?
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, Tim, when we looked at the bylaw, the issue of the 2 hectares or 5 acres is actually from the county. Well, there goes my brain. So what's
Official plan.
the official plan, which says that anything of less than 2 acres or 2 hectares, you're not allowed to have farm animals on, and that's from the official plan. So we made the exception. However, I have spoke over the last couple of years to a couple of people. They're out in the more rural area, and more especially this morning to a gentleman at Constant Creek, who they have an acre and a half. Their closest neighbor is over a mile away, and as I've told him, if you have 6 chickens or 8 chickens, unless there is a complaint, we're not looking for trouble. We looked carefully when we wrote this bylaw if we could do it just for the urban area, being in the village. Yep. And there was no way that we could at that time, and I don't think there still is, that we can differentiate between an urban property out on Grattan Road, urban property in the village, which is why we had to stick to that.
I don't know if there is or not, Steve, because going back to my firearms background, anything within village limits, it's no discharge area. But when you're outside of the village limits of any municipality, you're allowed to legally discharge a firearm in a safe location, of course. So is there some sort of provision in ours that we could look at that? Because the people, and I don't think there would be anybody ever calling to report or complain about these people. They just do not want to be in contravention of our bylaw. And if the law is there, they don't want to be breaking it, right? And I can understand that. And I think it's very unfair to residents are in those circumstances. So I would like to look into changing that from 2 hectares to, is this bylaw even required, and what has drove this bylaw to be put into place in 2016? Like
the bylaw was put in place because we had requests from people to be able to raise chickens or ducks on a residential property, and because of the municipal plan, that was impossible because chickens and ducks are both defined as farm animals, which is why the bylaw was written in the first place. But if you want him, I can certainly reach out with the CAO we can research a legal opinion on whether there is a way to differentiate between a residential property inside the village or a residential property outside the village. And we can report back to you on that.
So what you're telling me prior to this, though, because of the official, is that just because we fall under the official plan? So just, I'm going to use North Laguna Wilberforce, for instance. Does this law still apply to those people as well, or people in Madawaska Valley? This is a blanket term right across Renfrew County, is what you're saying.
Yes,
And
is.
it doesn't just come from the county, Tim. It's actually part of the provincial policy statement, which we follow with our official plan. But let's see, Steve, let's see if there's a workaround for that. I know the other thing is, you just reminded me of something. I mean, our bylaws are complaint generated. So I think, you know, I fully appreciate the person that reached out to Tim that doesn't want to be in contravention, but let's see if there's a way that we can make this work. And I don't disagree. I think we're going to see more gardens pop up. You know, they're going to be a little more self-sufficient.
Well, and a big thing, before they make a start, right? This is time and energy too, to building a chicken coop and getting it set up. You know, you wouldn't want to have it set up. And like I said, I've had before 30 meat roosters and in absolute no problem whatsoever in a small area. I mean, you don't need 5 acres to raise a few little chickens, right? So rather than being worried about somebody in a week from now or 3 weeks from now or a month from now saying, oh, I heard a rooster over there or something, you know, I think it's our responsibility to give these people, you know, a decent answer. And, you know, and like I say, under my observation and personal experience, you do not need 5 acres to have a couple, more than 4 chickens or, you know, some meat roosters or whatever, right? It's all for looking after yourself and being able to sustain yourself. You know, as we've seen, we don't want people going to grocery stores, you know, more than they have to. And this definitely keeps them out of it if they can look after themselves. And we're going to see a lot more, like Ben said, in the near future.
So if it's okay with you then, Tim, I will later this afternoon or tomorrow morning first thing, I will work with the CAO and we will reach out to the legal team and we'll see if we can find a workaround.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve.
Perfect. Thanks, Steve. All right. Yes, Jack. Jack, you're on mute. Jack, you're on mute.
Yeah, no, just a little bit of follow-up with Steve on the Fichette. I don't know, Steve, you probably saw that from Sean there this morning, but currently right now, Round Lake has fallen back within the operational limits. It's continuing to drop. It's dropping 1 to 2 centimeters daily. Golden Lake is starting to come down as well. Currently right now, I think it's around 30 centimeters above, I think, correctly, something like that. I have to look on the charts. But anyways, if it continues the way it is and we don't have any rain, I would suspect that Sean will be putting in logs at Traymore to hold back the water around Lake, and hence that'll also help to reduce what little bit of overflow we have in Golden Lake right now. So, and then once Golden Lake drops below the limits, I'm sure he'll be doing the same at Golden Lake Dam. So,
That's great. Great news.
just a little
Great news.
follow-up.
Thanks. All right. Anything further for Steve? Yes, Merv.
Just wonder, do we still need 2 control group meetings a week, or can we reduce it to once a week?
We're already doing them once a week on Thursdays.
Okay. Well, I thought we did it once a week because of the holiday.
No, I think, you know, things are, thankfully, things are moving very slowly in the county. They've ramped up their testing. We are still only at 14 cases and 1 death. So I think for right now, I just thank God that people are practicing their social distancing and their physical distancing and adhering to some of the rules in place to keep all of us safe. All right, anything further for Steve? Okay, thanks, Steve. All right, Annette, it's all you.
Okay, thanks. So as you can see from the report, a lot of it has to do with COVID-19 and the electronic meetings and protocols and staff working alternate shifts to try and keep everybody safe, and office remaining closed to the public other than appointment only where it's necessary. Budgets, we're going to get to setting the first meeting later in this meeting. And the undertaking of the service delivery review. So that has now commenced. I've had a brief discussion with Wayfinders, and they have provided me with a contract. So I went through that today, and they provided us with an insurance certificate up to 5 million. So we're well covered, and I'll bring that forward to the contract itself forward to council at the next meeting. But it's very basic. It's very uncomplicated. Looks good. In matching up with our RFP, and then we're going to start working on conversations or virtual meetings with staff, with council, to try and see, you know, what does our service delivery model look like now? Where can we be more efficient? And I realize right now it's kind of funny because it's not the greatest time, but it's kind of a good time to do this because there's not a lot of other programming going on. So we can really concentrate and spend time and say, yeah, so here's the programs that we normally put on that we're not putting them on right now, and have a look at sort of what we can do and move from there. So that's happening. For the building permit.
Annette,
Yep.
they reached out to me just before our meeting started.
Oh,
So
perfect.
I'll be in touch when we're done.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then I did talk to Mark, because I just wanted to get a sense of what's going on in that department. So I did do a little statement here. I double checked with Mark. So how it basically is that on Friday, April 3rd, the government of Ontario gave notice to changes to Ontario Reg 8220, being an order issued under the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act following Ontario's declaration that an emergency exists throughout Ontario as a result of the outbreak of COVID-19. The order requires the closure of places of business not included in the list of essential businesses, and the changes reduce the number and type of construction activities deemed to be essential and limits residential construction to certain types of project where permits were granted either before April 4th, 2020, and residential renovation projects which commenced before, again, April 4th, 2020. So the Bonnechere Valley Building Department is moving forward with inspections for permits issued prior to April 5th, 2020 for open air inspections. So if Mark's going out there to look at some footings or something, there's nobody around, it's outside, you know, that's a low risk activity. However, if you're doing renovations and you want him to come in and have a look around, we've requested that nobody's on site for the enclosed indoor inspections for at least 3 days before the date of inspection. And applications are currently being accepted electronically, and permits continue to be issued. However, the issuance of building permits after April 5th, 2020 should not be construed as a statement that the construction of the building described in the permit is permitted as an essential business pursuant to the order. All non-essential construction must be deferred, even if you've got a permit, until the government of Ontario has lifted the order or enacted further changes to permit non-essential construction activities to proceed. For example, if somebody has a failed septic system, the permit would be issued and the work could proceed as these works have been deemed essential. So I just wanted to, I realize it's a lot of legal jargon, but and that's something I've given Dana to sort of add to the media release for Friday and for our discussion on Thursday.
That is some great information, and I think that needs to go on Ask Mayor Murphy.
Yes. Okay.
Right? I think that that's something, you know, there's been a lot of confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Can I renovate my own bathroom? So, yeah.
And that's actually where that came from, because Mark and I were in discussions in other municipalities and trying to get legal opinions and stuff in order. And we didn't have to pay for this one, but we had a question come in through the admin email account from Ask Mayor Murphy, and that was the question. So that's where I worked out for the statement. So
it worked, Jeanette. It worked.
So yeah, that's good.
That's great.
And And that's, unless there's questions, that's all I really have to report at this time.
Anything for Annette? Yes, Jack.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if you want me to ask this question now or in the general meeting. It's about the board report. Do you want to save that for the general or do we discuss that in committee?
I'm
Just
sorry, I missed, you blipped out there. It's for the which?
Yeah, you
report?
did.
Okay, sorry. It's concerning the council board report for checks. Do you want me to ask that now or to ask it during the general meeting? I'm
Oh,
questioning
yes.
about one Barron disposal system.
Yeah, I think that's part of the next meeting package. So I guess we should stick to that agenda. Yes, if you don't.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll ask it then. Okay, that's fine.
Great.
perfect. Anything further for Annette? All right. Can we just take 2 minutes, guys? I just need some water. I'll be
Mhm.
right back. And then we'll go into correspondence.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I didn't want to get up while people were talking.
Yeah, that would look kind of funny.
Well, our sink isn't as close as the water cooler is to my chair at council, so
Okay.
sorry about that. All right, so we're going to move into correspondence, of which there is quite a bit, but most of it is COVID-19.
Yeah.
Anything on correspondence? Nothing? Everyone's good? Okay. So County of Renfrew update, I don't really have anything. We did not have, as I reported earlier, we did not have committee meetings last week. We do have a virtual county meeting next week, so I will have some stuff to report. The one thing that we are doing, we met virtually with regards to the county service review. And tomorrow I will be attending at county to interview the top 3. We have protocols in place. Please know I will be very, very, very careful. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out after we awarded ours. It's I agree with you, Annette. It's, you know, it's a horrible time, but it's actually a pretty good time to get stuff like this done. Just like, sorry guys, my computer just did something funky. Just like, you know, what they're doing at the arena, and, you know, might as well make hay while the sun shines. All right, budget meeting. Oh, yes, Annette.
Can I just ask a question? I don't know if a report will be coming forward to county council, but if there is one on the official plan that sort of has been dropped in our laps and is effective March 26th, which is, there were a lot of applications in the queue that maybe didn't come all the way to the end and aren't ready to be processed, but they're half done, half not done. And if we would have had some notice, I know these people would have got their stuff in. Like we could be losing some development because of that. And I'm planning on bringing a report forward to the May 5th council meeting to ask for support to see if the province through Minister Clark or through Minister Yakubuski would consider like an extension. Like I'm not asking them to change. The decision is made. They've made their decision. That's fine. But could they extend when it becomes applicable? Like instead of March 26th, which gave the county no notice and gave the people in the midst of limitations no notice, which is going to affect development and growth for all of us. Could they do an extension to April 26th even? which, I mean, now look at the time, I guess it would have to be like June 26th to just
Yeah.
give those ones that are in the queue, you know, some time, because I'm getting some calls and people are really, and I realize that the county has put through the process they have, and I don't know whether that's the process they have to put in place, or can they loosen the band a little bit. I had a bit of a discussion with Charles. I was hoping he would be a little easier on applying this deadline date, but I understand he has a job to do and he has to treat everybody the same. So I don't know whether you could ask the county, can we loosen it a little bit, or
Absolutely.
is this a lobbying effort that we all have to make? And I think the county would be actually on board to support that, to notice, because I think they're as in much of a jam, having to do all of this and get all of this ready, and the maps and everything, with, you know, very little notice.
Absolutely. And this, of course, is one of the challenges at this time, that we didn't have committee meetings, so it didn't come to development property. So I'm assuming, I don't have my county council report just yet, but I would assume that this will be a hot topic of conversation for all the county councilors. So I will let you know as soon as I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, it came down so fast, very little lead time for those that wanted severances. It's a pain, but let's see what we can do, because I guarantee you all 17 of us will be on board. But there are some real challenges with this provincial policy statement, including our growth plans that make no sense whatsoever. So, you know, a lot of us worked very hard on this over the last few years with Jim McDonnell's office from Municipal Affairs and Housing. And we thought we were on the right side of this, and boom, they dropped it. So let's see what we can do about it. But thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you.
All right. And so the community safety and well-being plan. This is something that I have been adamant that we would not be participating in my opinion. If it was an OPP matter, it was an OPP matter, and they should be doing them. And Annette and I got word, was it yesterday, Annette?
Yeah, it actually came through Sandra. Yep.
Yeah, so we got word yesterday that this project has been put on hold indefinitely. So I'm very happy to see that they've not only taken away the January 1st, 2021 timeframe, they've actually put this on hold. You know, I think it's great, especially because we just can't afford it. So there you have it. Sometimes it's good to sort of stand up and say, you know what, this doesn't make any sense for our municipality, and it's not something that we're going to engage in.
And it was going to be costly.
Very costly. Yeah. So anyway, I'm so pleased, you have no idea. Okay, so anything further on that? So our next meeting date is May.
The budget, just the budget meeting.
Oh, budget date. So I'm sorry.
So are we looking in May? So what day, like, I know originally we had sort of scheduled a Friday. Are we doing a Friday again? Do you want it like Friday the 15th or of May, or what's everybody's schedule?
Let's pretend that we're still in this predicament. Is everybody okay with doing a budget meeting like this if you have the budgets in front of you? Yes, Tim.
I was just gonna say, if I could get it printed off, because I do like my highlighter. I do like as long as I have a paper form of the budget, however, I can come and pick it up from outside the door or whatever at the office. I would like to have a fairly decent paper copy, and it doesn't matter to me what day.
Okay, even I like a printed out copy of the budget, and I'm all about not having paper, but when I'm reviewing it, I need the highlighter and the notes and everything else. So yeah, perhaps let's get them printed and we can pick them up. Yes, Merv, go ahead.
Yes, I was going to say, yes, I'd like a printed copy as well. And I'll come in and pick it up whenever it's available, or I'm in there in 2 weeks' time signing checks anyway.
Okay, Brent.
I was just gonna say, yeah, no, I'd want to print a copy, and then also I was just wondering if we can set up an additional Zoom and just have it on the billboard in the office, just so we can track for the public and ourselves just what we're doing. So it doesn't, no one has to be on it. Just literally just a billboard, and we can just keep updating as we go.
Well, then I'll tell you what, I'll go in and Annette and I can physically distance ourselves and I'll work on the whiteboard and we'll just have the Zoom facing the whiteboard.
Yeah, it's just, I just thought, just so we are all on the same page when we're
I
going
know.
through. So it just
See
makes it
that?
a lot simpler.
So I started doing that whiteboard thing in 2011 and it's worked out for every council since. I think that we need to see we need to track it, right? And I have no problem going into our office. If that would work better for you than this, I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's tentatively schedule for May 15th.
When do you think we're gonna get the budget, like it's finalized, like just like for our packages?
So staff is getting me their final budgets with the cost containment and different measures that have sort of been put into place because of what's happening right now. So I'm going to be getting them on the 24th. So I would like a week just to look at those and input them and kind of go through them and go over them and just, you know, see where we're at and whether we have to have a conversation with staff then back and forth the week of the, let's say the week of the 4th would be any staff meetings if I have any concerns. So definitely the paper copies, I would like to see them have them ready by the 11th. If we're meeting on the 15th, I'd like them to have them to you on the 11th.
All right.
Is that fair?
Yep. I think that's probably a good process. No doubt our budgets have blown up.
It's hard to say because it's a little bit of back and forth. Like I feel we might be short on revenue and I don't mean cash flow. Cash flow, we're probably short 200,000. Revenue, probably 30. But then we're also less expenses because of conferences, savings, professional, which I don't mean that we're giving up professional development because as Sandra can testify, I don't know how many webinars that we've been on. So, and as Steve just said, he's purchasing this, so we're still keeping up with our professional development. It's at less of a price tag. So also programming costs. So yes, revenue and costs. So it'll be an interesting thing to see what comes forward where we're at. At the end of the day, I don't know how short we're going to be or how much, but I also feel that I'm sure council wants to keep it as low as possible for people that are struggling at this time. And that's sort of the conversation that I've had with the department heads is you know, just have a look and you know what's essential. We don't want to follow back on our asset management plan. We don't want to not fulfill our capital requirements because we want to support the economy too, but just, yeah, like really think about it, so.
Well, and fundraising is virtually done for this year. So I know that that's going to affect some of the, some of the special projects that our departments like to do.
Yes.
It's going to affect the library big time.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do we have a scheduled, when are we doing the finalizing the library with NAW?
So I asked for the library at the same time because they did get back an amended budget already once to me. So I've asked them to look at it one more time with what's going on now. So depending on what they send me on Friday the 24th, I guess that will, you know, that will depend on whether, does that have to come forward to both Bonnechere Valley and NAW? Do we have to have a joint meeting to do that? But I'll touch base on that for sure.
Thank you. All right, anything further? Yes, Merv?
I was just going to remark on that. I got a copy of the one coming on the 24th this morning, and I haven't had time to have a look at it.
Okay. No worries. All right, so our next meeting date is May 5th.
Mhm.
Obviously, we don't have media on this. We are inviting the media to be,
Yes.
thanks, Annette, although they,
I sent them the meeting details. I know they're not always available. So what was said was if we're not available, if we're not on there, we're going back and watching your YouTube. So
okay,
they are still paying attention to what's happening.
sounds good. So we don't have any closed session, but how's everybody feeling? You guys all holding up? Morale is good? Can I get a thumbs up? All right, guys. Oh,
Gavel up.
oh, I should have brought my gavel home.
Yeah.
Don't lick it, Annette. Don't touch it. Yeah, no, this is great, guys. So we're all gonna log off and we're going to log back in at 3
Yes.
for our Eganville Generation Corporation meeting. Tim, you're all ready for that?
Set.
Can I ask for an adjournment, please? A mover, Counselor Cision, second by Counselor Patrick. All in favor?
Good for cookie time.
It is cookie time. It is.
Seen the tea earlier there, Merv.
Hey, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I seen that. I seen the tea. Did Myrtle bring that in? I seen Myrtle in the background.
Oh, she looked after me.
I can tell. That's good. That's good.
Even